just happy that you guys have good news for the team that you love that plays on Saturday, because I saw the team that I love play on Saturday this weekend, and boy, oh boy, did they fucking stink. Tyler, you saw that Broncos game, right?
Oh yeah, duh, yeah.
Broncos
Sorry.
Lions game on Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, I was
Final
completely.
score, it was a lot to a little. The Broncos just didn't really show up. Um, Russell Wilson played like doo doo for the first 3 quarters. The defense played like shit for the last 3 quarters. I guess they showed their true colors. Tyler, you were right. Congratulations, Mr.
My
Pessimistic wins again.
fumble prop on Russell Wilson hit again, so that's
Just a
he's
reminder:
going
if you
for
bet on
one.
the fumble prop for Russell Wilson, you'd be up 600 units so far this season.
Correct. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I don't know. What were your takeaways from that game, though? Because
Um,
I mean, obviously we have Sean Payton just screaming at Russell Wilson that phony baloney fucking offsides call, which that was just egregious. I didn't see it. I didn't get it. I didn't understand where the penalty came from on that play.
so um, I was hopeful going into the game, um, but when I saw Russell Wilson fumble, I kind of knew that that was the game right there. Unfortunately,
So just one fumble, you're out automatically. That's all it takes.
um, because it was such a huge swing of momentum, and we never even kind of got back in the game after that. Um, our defense looked like the defense that we had at the beginning of the season, so that's good. 5 steps forward, 50 steps backwards. So that's what you really love to see as your program goes through the season. You love to see them take steps backward, um, let you know
But
that
the
they're still
steps
strong.
forward were kind of fun, though. You have to admit.
Yeah, it was
There was some electric steps forward, and then we just like fell right down the hill.
correct. Um, yeah, I mean the offense was anemic as usual, um, and I just didn't expect the defense to look so shitty. And here we are.
To be fair, though, that's a Lions team, especially their offense has been underperforming, and they got guys. Like we know that they can light up the scoreboard any chance they get, and they stunk on their first couple drives, and then they just came out and went lights out, like scored the next 5 drives after that, and the Broncos just couldn't do anything about it because, like you said, the offense was anemic again, and that's just been the story of this team for the season so far. If the Broncos don't get turnovers, if they don't get the ball on the plus side of the field, it's tough for them to score, and even when they do, it's tough for them to score, and that's just kind of been the Broncos offense, I feel like, since Peyton Manning retired. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yep, and it's going to be like that for however many years left Russell has. So
Well, let me ask you actually, because our father asked a honestly pretty decent hypothetical. Justin Fields is in free agency or available via trade. Let's just say relatively cheap mid round draft pick, like 4, 5, 6. You have to trade for him. Would it be worth? Like, would that be an upgrade over Russ? 'Cause, I mean, I guess you would have to pay him.
yeah, I mean you don't make that trade um, because you have Russell Wilson under contract. I do think Justin Fields can be a good quarterback. Um, he has the skill to do it. It's just he's been so broken by that team that he plays on. Like you see it every time he takes a snap, he's like looking for where to run to because somebody's going to come right at him. So I think that's the issue with him. He has no confidence to stand there and be in the pocket for too long. So he gets antsy because of the team that he's on. Um, but you can't pay two quarterbacks. Like we're under the impression now in today's NFL that you need a quarterback on a rookie deal to be able to make the team work. And I mean, we can do it. We can go the complete opposite way of everybody in the league and just be the worst team in the league, I suppose. Paying two quarterbacks millions of dollars
Zig
a
when
year.
everybody bags.
Yep.
Let's pay instead of paying quarterbacks on the rookie deal, let's pay 2 quarterbacks after the rookie deal and see what happens.
Yep.
Let's take up 60% of our cap room and see if we can build a team off of that.
Although, if you're talking, there's a guy in Seattle. His name is Drew Lock.
I was gonna say, speaking of quarterbacks on their rookie deals, Drew Lock led the Seahawks to the promised land, a fourth quarter comeback drive. He's even actually lead blocking. I saw that play too. That play fired me up. And just seeing that drive, I saw the first couple plays didn't go that well, and I saw that DK Metcalf catch on the sideline. That was incredible. And then Drew Lock just said, coming out. I mean, I listened to the interview. If you didn't see it, he said coming out of the huddle. I just said, told Jax. if you got man-on-man coverage, nobody up top, I'm hitting you. I'm going to you. And that's exactly what he did over the top. Jackson Smith and Jigba made an incredible catch. The Seahawks end up winning that game. Did you stay up to watch that game-winning drive?
I was in bed watching a Christmas movie.
That's okay. Hey, some of us are dedicated to the sport, some of us aren't. That's okay. But I mean, I wouldn't blame you for turning it off because Drew Lock hitting the ball on the their own 7-yard line, having to drive 93 yards. I think there's only 2 people in America that believed that was me and our producer Brandon Shanahan. And you know what, Brandon? Our faith paid off because Drew Lock turned in an incredible drive, incredible performance. And I want you to know that post-game interview kind of made me tear up a little bit.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's never gotten his fair shot in the NFL. Just thinking about what Sean Payton can do with some talent like that would
Just natural arm talent, natural leader, and then a little.
Mhm. That's right. Put on the coat.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that Hall of Fame jacket.
I also love when he came to the sideline, he looked at the camera and said, "That's fucking right," and the DK Metcalf standing behind him. And I did hear PFT say this today. I'll admit, but it was just so funny. It's like, "I'm sorry, young man, I wasn't aware of your game," but that literally was the look the DK Metcalf gave. It was like, bro, he was definitely talking shit to him at some point in that game. He's like, "Hey, bro, great fucking drive." That was great. I thoroughly enjoyed that a lot. It was great to see. The Eagles, though, they've lost 3 straight. 4 out of the last 5. Where do they go from here?
To the playoffs.
I mean, they're going to the playoffs. I think they're already in. But I mean, do they look good going into the playoffs? Their defense kind of stinks. That offense has been a little stagnant here and there. I know Justin Fields was hurt, or sorry, not Justin Fields. Jalen Hurts was sick, but I just don't. They don't look as electric as they did even earlier to start the season, or even last year. So I just don't know what that team is going to look like come January, February.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot to say about having guys that have been there. They were there last year. I think that is an important piece to it. Um, yeah, they're going to playoffs. I mean, that's a win. You make the playoffs, you're winning.
I mean, they just got hired Matt Patricia as a defensive coordinator, and all that guy does is win Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator. So at least you can hang your head on that.
Yeah, give him a couple weeks to get that defense right. They'll be back.
And Jalen Hurts, I mean, he obviously wasn't feeling that well. The worst play I saw from him that entire game was just that last throw that he made. Like knowing you need a field goal to take a deep shot like that on a man that's double covered. I mean, it didn't really make sense to me. I just get the field goal, kick a timeout, kick a field goal, take a timeout, get in field goal range, and then go into overtime. That just really didn't happen for them, and it was just kind of frustrating to see. I would imagine if you're an Eagles fan.
I think he was thinking, no fucking shot. Am I playing an overtime game? I feel like shit. Either this is a touchdown or we're going home. So
That's not a bad point. I did entertain that thought in my mind too. He's like, dude, I can't play another 15 minutes. Like I got to get out of here.
correct.
Like
He's
I'm
wearing a diaper.
dehydrated. I have a fever. I'm
Yeah.
sweating.
Got Dookie running down his leg.
Just hella dookie, bro.
Yeah.
Well, sticking in the NFC East, talking about the Cowboys. So the Eagles caught a break there. Cowboys get beat by the Bills. Bills look really good. We talked about it last week how they might make a run here when they get to the playoffs. I'm all in on the Bills. I'm on the wagon. We're circling. We're ready to go. The Bills are my team come playoff time.
I mean, yeah, I think Sean McDermott, excuse me.
Shout out.
Great. I think he pulled out the wild card and started talking about 9/11 again, and I think the boys just really responded to it.
Yeah. Well, him and the mayor, they heard the New York City mayor talking about it on TV.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, no, anything could happen. You could open a new business. 9/11 could happen. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy out here.
Yeah. So I think the Cowboys are fraudulent, like I said. Dak still MVP? No.
I will say his MVP chances did get hurt a little bit with that last game. I gotta say, I mean, I did have it on the sheet, and I guess we could talk about it now. I like Christian McCaffrey as the MVP. I really do.
Sure, and I get that. I'm behind that all day, but I do think that the fact that people are talking shit about Brock Purdy is kind of criminal.
Yeah, I don't understand. I did see some things this week, like if you call Brock Purdy a system quarterback, like Kyle Shanahan does have a quarterback friendly system. But then what was Jimmy G? Because Jimmy
Yeah,
G couldn't make it work. Trey Lance couldn't make it work. There's not a lot of guys who can sit there and just put up the numbers he's putting up, and he's throwing multi-touchdown games. He is managing the game, but that's not a negative connotation. And I did like when Cam Newton, I don't know if you saw this a couple weeks ago, when Cam Newton was talking about game managers, and he said 90% of the quarterbacks in today's game are game managers. Did you see that clip?
yeah, I did.
Well, for our listeners, he came out and said, he just said, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, they're game managers. They don't really take over games, and he had to come out and follow up with that and say, that's not a negative thing. You manage the game to get the ball in your playmakers' hands. Like that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to turn the ball over. You're supposed to get the ball to guys like Debo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and that's what he does really, really well. And that's why he excels in that system, and that's why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league this season. And that's
Yeah,
important to do when you're a young quarterback.
and he's second in passing yards and 32nd in pass attempts, which is a pretty impressive stat.
It's very impressive.
Um,
I didn't know that at all.
and people talk about, oh, you throw the Debo and he runs 90 yards. Like, yeah, it's such a good play by Brock Purdy. Or Jesus, I am all over the place. By yes, Brock Purdy, and but you see that he is. I don't remember the exact stat, but his yards after catch for the team is not as high as like Dak Prescott's is and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
people give these. I don't know if it's just because he's a, a goofy looking white guy that was Mr. Irrelevant, and now he's in the league doing well. That people just have these negative connotations on him. Um, but he's balling out. I mean,
Oh, dude, if I have no doubt in my mind. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's no reason that he should be getting all this hate because he's doing more than these guys that are MVP caliber candidates. So
There's not a doubt in my mind that if Tom Brady was doing the Tom Brady thing like the past couple of years, he would have gotten so much more hate and vitriol and just all these like weird takes about how he's just garbage and average. Because I mean, back then, the internet was just beginning. There wasn't really Twitter and everything. So there were talks like, oh, he's just a system quarterback, blah 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 blah, and then he wins a couple MVPs, and all of a sudden that talk dies down. But yeah, like everyone just loves to. I mean, it's the public speculation. You know what I mean? We love to build people up, tear them down. We built Brock Purdy up because he was Mr. Relevant, always playing great. Then now all of a sudden he's playing too great. Now I have to say, well, he's not that good.
yeah.
He's Mr. Relevant. He doesn't deserve all that praise.